Well, hello there, guys and gals of YouTube world. It is Wednesday, October 27th in the year 2021. And feel free to subscribe to my channel. Click like, thumbs up for if you like the video. Of course, always comment if you got anything to say that's not derogatory. And feel free to share, especially this topic, okay? More Americans need to pay attention to this, even though all Americans, odds are, have heard about this, but they don't take any steps to correct this, okay? So what I'm going to talk today is what percentage of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Okay, so to get the information for this topic, I Googled what percentage of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And there are numerous links pop up from a variety of sites. And I'm just going to skim down. This one says 54% of consumers today live paycheck to paycheck. The next link says, I clicked a couple other things in here. Here it is. Nearly 40% of Americans with annual incomes over $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck. CNBC has an article, 63% of Americans live in paycheck to paycheck. Forbes says 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. MarketWatch says millions of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Another MarketWatch says a shocking number of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And so on and so on and so on. So let's just say, there's numerous studies, and I wrote notes down, and one article had a range of 50 to 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And I think that's more accurate, just to say somewhere between 50 and 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. All right, does anyone else see something wrong with that picture? Okay, but think about your own personal job, where you work at, your fellow coworkers. I dare say where I worked at, I retired out of a city, I was a police officer. I dare say that those figures are accurate. 50%, between half and 3/4 of Americans where I worked at, that organization, lived paycheck to paycheck. Several years before I retired, the city decided to change how we were paid. We got paid every 2 weeks, but for whatever reason, I forget the reasoning, they were going to say this Friday was our paycheck. They were going to hold off and pay us next Friday to kind of like reset our pay cycle. And people started crying about it. And they gave us like a month advance notice. People started crying they were losing a week of pay. But the city was like, no, you will get all your pay. Like when you retire, when you quit, you'll get that last week will come to you. You're not losing a cent. But the city could hold the money a little longer. Okay. But the amount of Americans the amount of my coworkers and peers that were really upset about this was staggering, because it's like they had to delay a paycheck from this Friday to next Friday. I heard tell that some want to get a short-term loan. And it's like, what's wrong with that picture? Okay? I've said this in a variety of videos, but we all need to live below our means. Right now, there's a supply chain issue. I've looked into this. I've watched a variety of in-depth videos on this. I've read articles on this. And I think it comes down to one big thing. Americans are addicted to buying. Americans, because of the shutdown, were cooped up and they ordered a bunch of stuff, and it overwhelmed the system. All right, and I think that's a big part of it. There's more to it than just that, but that's a big part of it. Okay, but Americans have a problem, and I'm generalizing here, but I'm generalizing between half and 3/4 of the country has a problem with controlling their spending. All right, because if you work a job, no matter what job you work, you have two options. If your pay is here, you spend this much so you can save the difference. Okay, if this pay here, your bills are here, well, by golly, make a little bit more money. Work another job. All right, if you're the rare American working 2 or 3 or 4 jobs and your income is just barely meeting your expenses, then you got to figure out how can you lower your expenses, okay? And all of us need to figure out how to lower our expenses. You look at the big categories, you look at the little categories. The big categories is housing. All right, if you're renting, can you find a cheaper place to rent? Perhaps not, because rents are going up everywhere. you need a place to live, right? If you own a house and your mortgage is too high, can you downsize? Is that a possibility? Or are you underwater on your mortgage and, but can you downsize in some fashion to bring your mortgage payment down? Can you refinance to bring your mortgage payment down? A big one though, look at the vehicle you drive. So many people have a car loan that's a huge loan. We're addicted to our cars. I had my car yesterday. I drove a 2009 Toyota Camry. I took it in for an oil change and a tire rotation. I needed a few new lug nuts for it, so I went across the street to an auto supply store and I bought some lug nuts to put on there, some new lug nuts. And I was also told the sidewall of my tires were starting to get cracks in them, which they were. But at the same time, I knew the guy wanted to sell me some tires. But he also told me, he asked me, how much driving do you do? And I said, not very much anymore. So he's like, well, you're probably fine. As long as you don't take a long trip on those tires. But if you're just piddling around town a little bit, it's probably not, you got more time. But he showed me when my tire was stamped 1215. That's when the tire was manufactured. I pulled up my note, I keep track of everything in my car auto log. And back in December of 2015, I bought 4 new tires. So that was 6 years ago. So the tires are starting to dry rot just a bit. Now, I was in Virginia, 4 seasons, hot, cold, warm, snow, ice. Now I'm down in Florida, hot year round. So tires do degrade. Tires are rubber, they're made with oil in there. They degrade over time, so I will need a set of tires, all right? If I was living paycheck to paycheck, that could traumatize me because tires are expensive. He gave me a quote on one set of tires, like $675 roughly. Okay, that's a lot of money, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. But if you have money saved up and you need tires, could you get cheaper tires? Probably. Like, do I need to spend whatever he suggested to me? If my car is just for piddling around, I'm sure I can get a cheaper set of tires if I so desire, but not a lot cheaper because tires are the only thing between us and the roadway. So we want to have good tires. That's important. Don't skimp on your tires. Okay. But if you have an expensive vehicle, can you sell it and get a cheaper one? Or if you're coming to the end to pay your car loan off, don't trade in for a new version. Keep it for years longer. Like, keep it till it's falling apart on you. Keep it. All right. Because half to 3/4 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You got to take drastic measures, and they're not that drastic, but you just got to make common sense decisions. And vehicles are a big one. Housing's another big one, but just stuff. All the stuff we buy or experiences that we buy. Can we cut back a little bit? All the eating out we do. Restaurants, they're overwhelmed with people coming to eat. Can you eat in your house? There's many ways to try to save money. All right. Credit card debt. Avoid credit card debt. Pay your credit cards off every month. Because if you don't, you pay interest, which means you pay more money. Okay. The median savings account, I looked something else up. I'm not going to open my tablet back up, but the average savings in America, they estimate to be $41,000, something roughly. $41,000 was the average. That goes to the high to the zeros. It's the average. The median, which is 50% have more, 50% have less. The median savings amount in bank accounts was just about $5,000, slightly over $5,000, like $5,300. That's scary. If that's median, that means 50% have more, but 50% have less than $5,000. That's not very good. All right. So all of us, if you're watching my video, odds are I'm preaching to the choir. But there could be one of you that watch this that you're in that situation. So I covered in a nutshell a lot of ways to cut expenses, but I know you need more information on how to do it. Dig around on the internet, look at your housing, look at your vehicle, look at your job. Can you increase your pay? If money is just really, really, really tight, look at the little things. Do you buy a daily cup of coffee at Starbucks? Do you get a daily donut? Whatever it might be. Look at the little things if money is that tight. Okay? You got to do what you got to do. All right? Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Ask me questions. If not, comment. I'll reply. And as always, stay safe in all you do. Okay? Mazske is signing out.